So, hey, today I want to talk about a very delicate and serious matter. A few days ago, I lost a friend who was in one of the online communities that I'm in. She was a 24-year-old mother, and let me just say that her death was completely avoidable. The reason behind her death lies in psychiatric drugs. The most commonly prescribed psychiatric drugs are antidepressants and benzodiazepines. Both of these drugs, both classes of these drugs, are very, very dangerous. First, I'm going to talk about benzodiazepines and what's the big problem with those drugs. So, if you have, for example, minor anxiety or you experience some insomnia, then when you go to a doctor and you tell them about these symptoms, you most likely will get a prescription of a benzo. The most known benzos are Xanax, and the main ingredient in Xanax is alprazolam. There are also generics of it that are called other names. I don't remember them by heart. There is Valium or Diazepam in Estonia, which is Diazepam. There is Clonazepam or Rivotril in Estonia, which is Clonazepam. And there is Lorazepam and Diazepam and a few others. So, if you start taking them, you will feel a lot calmer than before, because what they do is they are central nervous system depressants. They bind your GABA receptors, and by doing this, you will feel calm, at least at first. They will take your anxiety, insomnia, and everything away. But the problem is that after a while you have been on them, it's not really easy to stop taking them. For example, you feel that you don't really need them anymore. You don't have this anxiety anymore. You want to stop, but you can't. Because if you stop them, if you just stop taking them, then most likely what happens is you get really bad rebound anxiety, panic attacks. Most likely you will feel the worst anxiety and panic you have never felt before. And most likely you will get loads of different symptoms that you have never ever felt before. But if you go to a doctor and you tell her or he about these symptoms, then what happens most likely is that the doctor tells you that your psychiatric disorder is getting worse, or even in the worst case scenario, you will get a new diagnosis. So they want to drug you even more. Maybe they will add an antidepressant or a mood stabilizer or antipsychotic, which all are dangerous. So never ever stop taking benzodiazepines abruptly. I mean, it's literally dangerous because it can even kill you. You can have seizures, you can have cardiac arrest. So don't do this. If you have been taking them for over like 3 weeks, then you should do a gradual taper. This means that you should just take a small percentage of the dosage you have taken daily and cut it, and then let it settle down and then taper off gradually. But never stop taking them abruptly. When you start tapering, then most likely it depends on so many factors. I mean, how long have you been on the drug? What's your underlying conditions, all of that. But most likely you will get some kind of withdrawal syndrome. It can range from mild to very severe when you are totally disabled and homebound. So why are these people killing themselves? What happens? I mean, it's not the rebound anxiety that's killing them, right? People are not taking their lives because they just have some anxiety or panic or whatever. This withdrawal syndrome can make you have so severe new symptoms that make living totally impossible. One of the worst things that can happen is that you can develop something that is known as akathisia. So some people think it's only like a movement disorder, like you can't sit still, you have to like move your hands or your legs or your body or the pace. But it's not just that. Akathisia can be a very strong inner restlessness, and it's so strong that you want to crawl out of your skin. It's the most uncomfortable feeling that you can get. You just can't be with yourself, you just can't sit still. It's eating you from the inside. I think it's one of the worst things that a person can experience. And now imagine you have this 24/7 for weeks, for months, or even for years. Would you like to live like that? Could you just stand it? Just live like this? You feel like you want to crawl out of your skin. You are super anxious. You are so restless. It's never gonna stop. You can't sleep. You can't eat. It takes you over. It's that bad. And it happens. But there are also other symptoms that can lead to suicide in benzo withdrawal syndrome. You can get very depressed, like really, really, really depressed. As I said before, benzos are depressants. Their side effects include suicidal thoughts, depression, fatigue, all that stuff. And withdrawal, you can get all kinds of pains all over your body. You can get burning nerve pain. You can get like fibromyalgia kind of pain. Your gut is a mess because these receptors, they are not only in your brain, they are all over your body. So all of your bodily functions are a mess now. So what I'm trying to say is, don't take benzodiazepines no matter what. Just don't, because it's so much easier just to stay away from these drugs than to deal with the aftermath. The withdrawal syndrome is a real thing, and for some people it can last for years and years. If you're lucky, then yes, it will be over, like maybe in weeks or months. But if you're unlucky, you will have to suffer for a very, very long time. And some people just can't take it because their lives are completely stolen from them. They have to quit their jobs. Their marriages are falling apart. Friends are leaving. A lot of them are completely alone. And the only people who support them are the people in the online communities who are going through the same thing. Because the thing is that the so-called normal people who have never experienced this don't understand it. And unfortunately, they believe doctors. If doctors say that this person has a mental illness, then they're like, oh, okay, it's a mental illness. But actually it's not. It's a completely different thing if you have a mental illness or if you have a brain injury from a chemical, or if you have a chemical mess because of benzo withdrawal. The other thing is that antidepressants are also really dangerous. I know that doctors agree that taking benzos is not good and that they are addictive and that you can have some withdrawals, but they don't believe that it can last that long and that it can lead to suicide. But with antidepressants, it's even worse because they think that those drugs are safe, but they aren't. There are people who have actual proven, medically proven brain damage from antidepressants. They have chemical neurotoxicity and brain injuries from commonly prescribed antidepressants. And this manifests in severe neurological symptoms and, the cognitive dysfunction and there are so many things. Problems with memory, nerve pain, strange pains like burning pain, headaches, vision disturbances like double vision, and these people have problems with, walking. Some of them are in a wheelchair, and it's a real thing. It's not a psychosomatic thing, it's a real chemical brain injury. But most of doctors don't know about this, and if a person has developed very strange symptoms on an antidepressant, and most likely they are given a new psychiatric disorder, like conversion disorder, or in Estonia I think it's called dissociative disorder, because the person has neurological symptoms, but a chemical injury doesn't show up on an MRI. And most likely, if you go to a neurologist with those symptoms, they will do an MRI, but they won't do the SPECT scan, which would show the chemical image. So the MRI is okay, you're good to go, there's nothing wrong with you, you have a psychiatric disorder, and most likely they want to put you on some more meds. So it's a very dangerous circle. So what I'm trying to say is, if someone takes their life, it doesn't mean this person was weak or that this person was suffering from a clinical mental illness. If someone dies, look into the meds what he or she was taking. Or if recently the doctor changed meds, added something, took something away, and I think you will find your answer there. These drugs are killing people. This is the truth. I've seen it too many times. And there's nothing that the doctors are doing to prevent this. They're just writing prescription by prescription, and they don't really care what they are doing. Or they just are so ignorant that they really believe that they are helping people with these drugs. But do your research. There is tons of information out there about these drugs. There is a lot of information. Just please, before you start taking any psychiatric drugs, please do your research and listen to the people who have been through this. There are so many online communities out there dedicated to antidepressants and benzos and all the other psychiatric drugs. Look into the communities, look what the people are telling. There wouldn't be communities with thousands and thousands of members if this wouldn't be an actual problem. I hope you're following me. Why are thousands of people online talking about exactly the same experiences with those meds? Is it a coincidence? I really don't think so. So, I hope that some of you think really seriously about this stuff. And if you are already taking something like a benzo or an antidepressant, there are loads of communities on Facebook that you can join who have those really, really kind and helpful people there who will guide you how to safely taper from a psychiatric drug. So take care of yourselves and your loved ones. This is a serious thing. People are dying. Let's try to do our best to keep the count down. Thank you.